The multiverse has always been both an intricate and convoluted topic when it comes to anything in the Pokemon community ever since their hard canonization with the post-game of Omega Ruby and Alpha Sapphire, that being the Delta episode. However, keen-eyed fans had always been able to deduce that there has always been several timelines within this franchise because of several iterations from both the manga and the anime being separate from actual game canon lore. But there has been one topic that I've never really been seen discuss it, at least to this extent. In which combination of Pokemon games does the anime timeline follow suit? Which version prevails over the others when it comes to the adventures of our boy Ash Ketchum? This is the topic we are about to uncover together today, folks, so make sure to stay tuned and subscribe for more. Let's go! Starting off with the very beginning, let's tackle the original series with the Kanto and the Johto stories, and this is practically a no-brainer. This entire saga has always teased both of the entries of Pokemon Yellow and Pokemon Crystal 1 year before these third entries were always been released to the Japanese public. And this is extremely evident with the fact that Ash got Pikachu, so therefore it's the Pokemon Yellow, but it becomes much more interesting with the Gold and Silver saga because the first Pokemon that they meet in the Johto region, it's Suicune in Tojo Falls, and they do meet this same Suicune in the Ecruteak Tower during Master Quest. There are other points of contention like having the Unknown being prevalent in the first Johto movie, the crystal-coded characters like Marina from The Legend of Thunder and even Lyra in Heart Gold and Soul Silver, they are very predominant during the Diamond and Pearl anime. And of course we cannot forget the existence of the GS Ball during the Orange Island arc, that was a key item and a crucial element to Pokemon Crystal only in the Japanese version. Not to mention that also when it comes to Pokemon Yellow, Ash did also got all of the 3 starters. So there's that. When it comes to generations 1 and 2 of the anime, they are part of the Yellow and Crystal timeline, mainly. Just a big disclaimer before I continue, this doesn't mean that it's a one-to-one adaptation of the game, it just means that one version will always prevail more over the other, but it's not really just the one and done deal. And you're about to see that with the next entry, that being of the Hoenn region. This was a hard one, but I've decided to go with the Pokemon that are present and the plot points that are, more relevant. When it comes to the present Pokemon, we do see Brock getting Lotad and Jessie getting Seviper, and these are Sapphire exclusive Pokemon, which leads me to believe that the Hoenn saga, at least the first half, it's mainly Pokemon Sapphire. The later half of AG, with Ash battling Hoenn instead of Wallace and so therefore meeting Scott in the Battle Frontier, there have some Emerald elements, I will not deny that, but the first half of the Advanced Generation series is mainly Sapphire coded, even when it comes to the villains. Yes, it's a soft tease to the Emerald plot point because we meet both teams, equally in number may I add, I was very surprised, but there are some crucial points to this. Despite Team Magma being the first one that we meet in the second episode in the Oldale Ruins, the one that steals the Devon goods is an Aqua Grunt, and that Aqua Grunt also kidnapped Pico, the Wingull of Mr. Briny, and during the two-parter finale of this crisis, the one that is, more in control in trying to destroy the world, it's Archie with Kyogre, so I'm more leaning into, canonizing Sapphire as the de facto version of the Advanced Generation. And this also alludes to the movies. Yes, the movies also canonize Sapphire in a massive way when it comes to the Hoenn saga of the Pokemon anime. And that is the presence of, Ash having a strong bond with Latias in movie 5, that's a Pokemon from Sapphire only, and then in movie 6 we do see a Bio Groudon, so it leads more to the idea that Groudon is not really meant to have such a big presence. And then in movie 9 we have a real Kyogre helping Manaphy out, so there's that. Now when it comes to the Sinnoh region, I just want to give another big disclaimer. This was probably one of the hardest ones to decipher, so I just want to give you now a massive big information. Realistically, the Sinnoh region tackles both Diamond and Pearl, with the Diamond side being more tackled by Ash and the Pearl side being tackled by Dawn. Because Dawn's rival and even her mother, they have a Glameow, which is a Pokemon Pearl exclusive, and even her color are, you know, more Pearl coded with the pink. And even though we meet Lucar and Kairon later on with the Galactic arc, the order of gyms was always the Diamond and Pearl order, and even the Pokemon utilized, they were the Diamond and Pearl Pokemon. Even Candace uses Medicham during this run, so yeah, Dawn was mainly Pearl, while Ash was mainly Diamond, and the evidence that I have to prove it are again the Pokemon present throughout the whole story. Ash's rival, Paul, he displays a massive quantity of Pokemon that are present in Diamond only, that being of Murkrow and Elekid, with the later being from the remakes, and even Ash's Gligar, it's on Pokemon Diamond with, you know, the slot of Emerald, so there is your tie-in to the Battle Frontier arc, but then it only shows up later in Brilliant Diamond. I was alluding more to the idea that the Diamond and Pearl anime was in the Brilliant Diamond universe, rather than the actual Diamond universe. But then again, I had to go to the movies and other side material, and in the movies, Dialga shows up 3 times, while Palkia only shows twice. And we even had the whole episode with Lucario and the Iron Ruins, which is more Registeel coded, but it's the Iron Ruins, so there's a lot of Steel type elements related to it, and the Steel type Pokemon, it's Dialga, not Palkia. And it's also kind of funny that, you know, with Ash being, you know, the diamond coded character, even from the blue collar, the fact that he's eternally 10, so he's basically stuck in time. We all saw the short with Celebi from those museum art pieces. So yeah, in terms of, you know, the version that's more predominant in the Sinnoh series, for Ash, it's the diamond side. And now let's continue with the modern series, those being of Pokemon Best Wishes and Pokemon X and Y. There are some conflicting sides, like for example in the Unova series, Drayden is the gym leader, like in Pokemon Black, and the one that has, you know, more focus is Reshiram, like in Pokemon Black, but that's when it's with the player. Here it's in a Team Plasma arc, and it doesn't have a strong bond with Anne, true, but the one that was meant to, you know, replace Drayden as a gym leader, it was Iris, but this arc was never really fulfilled and realized, and even Iris meets Ash in episode 2 after he meets Zekrom. So I have to basically adhere to the idea that, you know, Pokemon Black and White was leaning more to the white side of the story instead of the black side of the story. With of course some Best Wishes, you know, Season 2 elements being, you know, of maybe White 2 because of Roxy and Marlin, and even Cynthia in Udella Town, but I guess it's also from partially Black and White, but they meet the Therian forms, that's like a Dream Radar situation, but alas. As for the Kalos saga, it's super easy, it's the X version. We have the more predominant Mega Charizard. The summer camp, they saw Xerneas, both Ash and the gang, as well as, you know, Bonnie and even their rivals. They saw Xerneas, so it has to be more Pokemon X. Even the final episode that was never broadcasted internationally, they are very focused about, you know, a guy wanting to, you know, revive the dead from Yveltal. It's more focused about on a search for Xerneas. And again, even with the Pokemon present, in Pokemon White, we get Butterfree in the Rustling Glass in the post-game, and even in White 2, we have Butterfree in the Hidden Grottos. In the Black version, this is Beedrill. In the Decolor Islands, Ash met another Butterfree and reminisced about his. So this clearly has to be about, you know, Pokemon White. And even for the Kalos series, Sawyer, one of Ash's main rivals, he had 2 X version exclusives. Those being of, you know, Slurpuff and Clawitzer. So if the giant Mega Charizard and the Zekrom in episode 1 wasn't evidence enough, then this certainly has to be, of course. And now going with the final 2 series, that being Sun and Moon for Alola and Journeys for Galar and more. For Sun and Moon, it's easy, it's the Sun version. Maybe the Cosmog became a Solgaleo, and then later on we have, you know, some Ultra Moon elements, but that's besides the point. And even one of Ash's main companions, that being Kiawe, he has a Tortunator. He doesn't have that in the game, but that's his main partner in the anime. And Tortunator is a Sun exclusive Pokemon. Granted, they do meet the Drampa later on, but that's more for Malo and Lana's side of the story. So yeah, for the Alola series, it's mainly Pokemon Sun. And then as for Pokemon Journeys, it's mainly the Sword version. For Ash's side of the story, Go would be Shield because of Zamazenta, but Ash met Zacian. As Go had a little bonding time with Alistair, again another Shield presence, Ash's main rival was B, a gym leader from Sword exclusively. So yeah, the Journeys anime mainly takes place in the Sword universe when it comes to the timelines of the games. And if this wasn't evidence enough, one of the Pokemon that Ash gets in this series is another Sword exclusive, that being Galarian Farfetch, and in this game, in the post-game, in the Dynamax adventures, that's where you can get Ho-Oh, and Ash is very connected with it. A post-game is an epilogue to a trainer's adventures, so it also adheres to that. And going back with Alola, for Pokemon Sun, this is where you exclusively find Alolan Vulpix that Lily got, and you can find Wild Passimian that Ash did in the Band episode. Granted, they also met an Oranguru, but Oranguru being Moon exclusive, Oranguru was more of a reoccurring actual character than an actual wild Pokemon. So there you have it, trainers. These would be the game titles that would fit a quote-unquote timeline for the events of the Pokemon anime and the adventures of Ash Ketchum. Those being, chronologically, Pokemon Yellow, Crystal, Sapphire, Diamond, White, X, Sun, and Sword. This was a very fun and interesting video to do. I really hope you enjoy it. If you want more content like this, make sure to continue to watch the channel. Thank you so much for the support, trainers. I will see you another time. KuroBlitz out.